ਡੀਅਰ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ, ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕੰਪਲੈਕਸ ਐਨਾਲਿਸਿਸ। ਕੰਪਲੈਕਸ ਐਨਾਲਿਸਿਸ ਬੇਸਿਕਲੀ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ a topic of the paper of MSc first semester Guru Nanak Dev University, and also it is a paper of many other universities as well as in engineering. Now the first topic of complex analysis, that is analytic functions. So before going to the definition of analytic function, so we will discuss the derivative of a function. Now we are in the space of a complex variable. So remember, in the previous classes we did the work in the real numbers. Now here we are in the domain of complex number. So just understand the values of the topic of complex number. So topic of complex number, that is the topic of complex number. So complex number is a tuple form which is in x and y coordinate. For example, if these are two-dimensional space, two-dimensional Cartesian axis, so this is a origin and this is a x-axis and this is a y-axis. So any point z in this plane, this is a plane which is a complex number. So it has two coordinate, one is x, second is y. So what is x? If we take this and this, so this is a O, M and P. So this part is, this OM is x and this part is y, right? And this part is R, which is called a radius vector and magnitude of complex number. So complex number, first discuss complex number. It can be written in as x plus iota y. So that we already did in the previous classes. So x is a real part of z. So real part of z, which is x, and imaginary part of z, which is a y. So this is a simple form of complex number. This complex number also written in the form of r and theta. So in the form of cis theta, in the form of e raised to power iota theta. So this, if we take x is equal to r cos theta and y is equal to r sin theta. Now substitute these value in this equation. So we get z is equal to r cos theta plus iota sin theta, and this is a r into cis theta, and this is a r which is e raised to power iota theta. So what is r? That is obtained from these two equations. How we can obtain? This is scaling and adding. Then we get r, which is a square root of x square plus y square. So what is? It is a modulus of z. So this is a modulus of z. So what is theta? Which is the argument of z. So theta can be obtained by dividing this by this. So tan theta, which is equal to y by x. So theta is equal to tan inverse y by x, and this is a argument of complex number z, right? So this is the brief idea of a complex number. After going to the brief idea of complex number. Now, function. So if we take f of z, it is a sum function on a complex domain. Complex domain, it is on a complex number. So first of all, remember this function should be single valued function. Single valued mean it has unique values, it has one value. So let f of z is single valued function on a complex domain, on a complex domain D. So first remember, so this f of z is a single valued function in a domain, on a domain. We also write it as in a domain D. So remember, it is a single valued function. Now, the first concept, that is the derivative of function in the form of complex domain. Now this derivative can be written as f dash z. If f dash z, then it means this derivative f dash z. So derivative of f of z at point z equal to a. So remember this values. Then it means it is a derivative of function at point a. It means clear. Now if it is a derivative of function, so by definition this is equal to limit h approaches 0 f of a plus h minus f of a over h. So this is equation number 1. So what is this equation? This equation, the right hand side, this is a limit. So what is provided? This is very important. Provided the right hand limit, this limit exists. Provided that this limit number 1, this limit exists. Number 1, this limit exists. And number 2, it has same values along every path where h approaches to 0. It has, also we can say that it is independent. It is independent of path, every path along which h approaches to 0. So where h approaches to 0, along that path it is a independent. Independent means it has same values. Now in the complex domain, if this is a some two-dimensional space O, X, Y, so this point is A and this point is B, right? So we have a number of paths from A to B. So in the complex domain, we have number of paths. So given condition is along every path, the value of a limit should be same, and the value of a limit should be same as h approaches to 0. When along which h approaches to 0, this the limit along every path is same. So these are the two definitions. Two part. It means f of z, which is differentiable at z is equal to a. If these two conditions are satisfied, then it means function is differentiable at z equal to a. So in the real number, in the real domain, just the limit exists, but here limit exists and it is same along every path where h approaches to 0. After that, as we know that differentiability implies continuity, but converse is not true. We know that differentiable functions are continuous, but continuity does not implies differentiability. So continuity does not implies differentiability. So these are the basic fact of differentiability and continuity. Now, what is analytic functions? Then we will discuss the difference between analytic function and differentiability. What is analytic function? Right? What is analytic function? So basically, it is a extension of a differentiability. So what is analytic function? If there exists a neighborhood of a, if there exists a neighborhood, this is a neighborhood which is z minus a absolute value less than r. So this is a neighborhood of a such that at all points function is differentiable. Yeah, such that at all points f dash z exists, right? So at all point f dash z exists. अगर ये exist करेगा at all point, in that case function is analytic. For example, if we are talking about the complex number, so this point is a, so this point is a. If function is differentiable at a, then it is simple, derivative exists at this red point. Its derivative exists at this red point. But if we are talking about analytic, then we take a some neighborhood. So this is a neighborhood of a. Now function is differentiable at each point inside the neighborhood. At each point inside the neighborhood, then it means function is analytic at point A. So that is difference between these two definition. At differentiable at A means the derivative exists at red point, but if it is analytic, then it is differentiable at every point in its neighborhood. So basically it is a set of z minus a less than r. So this r is a radius. So this is a r radius. Now it means it from definition it is clear that function is analytic implies differentiable, but converse is not. It means if function is analytic at point, then it is differentiable, but converse may be true, may not be true. So analytic implies differentiability, but converse is not true. Right? So this is a analytic, the analytic and differentiability relation. Now next we are going to prove a very important theorem, which is also called a necessary condition for function f f z to be analytic. भी कोई भी फंक्शन एनालिटिक कदों ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨੈਸੈਸਰੀ ਕੰਡੀਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਥਿਓਰਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. ਸਪੋਜ਼ this is some function fz which is complex form, so it is u plus iota v. This is real part, this is a imaginary part. This function is analytic, then it implies it satisfy Cauchy-Riemann condition. U and v satisfy Cauchy-Riemann condition. It satisfy Cauchy-Riemann condition. What is Cauchy-Riemann condition? So this is a curly u by curly x, right? It's a derivative with respect to x, which is equal to curly v by curly y. Both are positive, right? First I differentiate this with respect to x and this with the next variable, means y. So curly u by curly x, which is equal to curly v by curly y. Now second, curly u by curly y, now second variable, which is equal to minus time curly v by curly x. So when we start from y, the negative sign will be introduced, but when we start with x, then it is a positive sign. So curly u by curly x, which is equal to curly v by curly y, curly u by curly y, which is equal to minus curly v by curly x. So this condition is called Cauchy-Riemann condition. Now this is our just idea about what is Cauchy-Riemann condition. So now we are going to prove the very important result, which is a necessary condition for fz to be analytic. If f of z u plus iota v is analytic in domain D, then u and v satisfy the equation this curly u by curly x, curly v by curly y, curly u by curly y, which is equal to minus curly v by curly x, provided the four partial derivative ux, uy, vx, vy, it exists. So this is the second name of this theorem is derive the Cauchy-Riemann condition, the Cauchy-Riemann equations, correct? So this is our statement of the theorem, and this is very important result. Now in the given part, the function is analytic. So first I take let function f of z, which is equal to u plus iota v, this values, and this function can be written as w. Suppose this function is denoted by w, f of z, and it is denoted by w. Now this function is by given part analytic. This function is analytic. F of z is analytic. Then by definition of analytic, we prove the result step by step. So remember, step by step. By definition, f dash z, it exists and have same value along every path. Just doing definition, exist and have same value along every path, along every path. So डेरिवेटिव एग्जिस्ट करेगा और ਉਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼ ਆ ਉਹ ਹਰੇਕ ਪਾਥ, ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਾਥ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ ਉਸ ਪਾਥ ਤੇ ਇਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼ ਆ ਉਹ ਸੇਮ ਹੋਏਗੀ। ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਾਥ ਲੈ ਲਈਏ ਉਸ ਪਾਥ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਦੀ ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਸੇਮ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਫਸਟ I prove this result in very simple way. Now first, what is definition? F dash z, which is equal to limit delta z approaches to 0 f of z plus delta z minus f of z over delta z. So this is the equation number 1. So this limit should exist. If this limit should exist, then its and along every path its value should be same along this. So first I prove this result. Now from this just see that result. So what is f of z? What is f of z? Which is a u function of xy plus iota v function of xy. Similarly, if z is x plus iota y, so delta z is delta x plus iota delta y. So f of z plus delta z, this will become u x plus delta x comma y plus delta y plus iota v x plus delta x comma y plus delta y. This values, right? Now this is value of fz and fz plus fz and fz plus delta z. Now f of z plus delta z minus f of z, this value is equal to, just see that, taking real and imaginary part. So this is equal to u x plus delta x comma y plus delta y minus u x comma y plus iota v x plus delta x comma y plus delta y minus v x comma y. This is first part, and this value is equal to this values. So I just remove this equal. Basically this is equal to this values. Now here this is a delta z. So what is the value of delta z? Delta z is delta x plus iota y. So here delta x plus iota delta y. Here delta x plus iota delta y, right? Third step is limit delta z approaches to 0. So which is equal to, here limit delta z is delta x comma delta y approaches to 0 comma 0, right? So this is our first part and this is our second part, and entire term in bracket, then this approaches to 0. So this is value of this. So what is this? It is value of f dash z. So by definition, this limit should exist and it should be same along every path. So I write this equation as number 2. Now I take the two paths which are very common to everyone. One is x-axis and second is y-axis. So first I take x-axis. First I find the value along this path, along x-axis. So x-axis means y is 0. y0 means delta y equal to 0. So when I take along x-axis, so this is a two-dimensional space. So this is origin, this is x, and this is y. When I take this x-axis, so y is 0, and when I take this y-axis, so x is 0. So along this path, delta y is equal to 0. Along, first I take along x-axis, the derivative along this path. Now what is its value? First I take f dash z along this path, which is equal to limit delta y 0. So simply I got delta x approaches to 0, and this is bracket start. So first value is now delta y is 0. So this is u x plus delta x. If delta y is 0, so here it is y minus u x comma y, that is in equation number 2. From this, delta y is 0, so here y, and here uxy, and here delta y is 0, so here it is delta x. This values plus iota time this values. Similarly, v x plus delta x comma y minus vxy and over delta x, this value, and this is values. So this value is equal to, now what is this? If we see the definition of this, so it is a derivative of a u with respect to x when we take the limit, and again when we take this limit, so it is a derivative of v with respect to x. So it is a curly u by curly x plus iota time curly v by curly x, so which is a equation number 3. So we find the value of f dash z along x-axis. Now we find the value of, after that we will find the value of f dash z along y-axis, and by definition along every path it should be same, then these equation must be equal. Now second part, in the second part, f dash z along y-axis, along y-axis. Now along y-axis, so delta x approaches to 0. Right? If delta x approaches to 0, f dash z, this will become limit delta y approaches to 0. So delta x खत्म हो गया देता हूँ, तो डेल्टा y कल ही रह गई. अगर डेल्टा y रह गया, so this is first u x plus delta x, since delta x is 0, so here it is just x comma y plus delta y minus u x comma y over iota time delta y. Remember this, because here it was delta x plus iota delta y. Since delta x is 0, since using this concept, it will be this values plus iota v x comma y plus delta y minus v x comma y over iota into delta y. So this is this values. This iota is cancelled to this iota, right? So here this term is real part, and this 1 by iota is converted into minus iota. So okay, since 1 by iota can be written as minus iota, now I take this term as a first term. So what is this term? It is a curly v by curly y when we take the limit. So what is this term? This term, which is a minus iota curly u by curly x. So which is equation number 4. Now equation number 3 and 4 are equal. So this is equation number 3 and this is equation number 4. If both the equation are equal, then compare these equation. So it means real part is equal to real part, imaginary part is equal to imaginary part. So what is real part? Curly u by curly x, which is equal to curly v by curly y. What is imaginary part? Curly v by curly x, which is equal to minus curly u by curly x. So we get from these equation number 3 and 4 curly u by curly x, which is equal to curly v by curly y, curly u by curly y, which is equal to minus curly v by curly x. So this condition is called CR condition, just CR equation, which is also known as Cauchy-Riemann equation. So Cauchy-Riemann equation or Cauchy-Riemann condition. So this proves the first theorem. If function is analytic, then it satisfies the Cauchy-Riemann equation. But converse is there is some additional condition to prove the converse part that we will discuss in the next lecture. So just here remember differentiability, analytic function, and necessary condition of analytic function is it satisfies the Cauchy-Riemann condition. The second and third name of analytic function is regular function. Must remember regular function or holomorphic function. Holomorphic function. Holomorphic function, right? So some book used as analytic function, some used as regular function, and some used as a holomorphic functions. So all the three names are used in the different books. The best book of complex analysis, that is a complex analysis by Winston Churchill. So that is a Tata Magra book. So that is the best books which is by Winston Churchill, very simplified form, that is available in all libraries. So that is the best book of this. Now the second theorem we will discuss in the next lecture, the lecture number